Just doing a quick sound test. Hang on. Yep. Okay, so we are getting there. Sorry about that. I was just getting my connection sorted out. Because it was lagging, and I couldn't be doing with that. Hopefully we should be okay now. I'm just waiting to get started. I'll be going in just a few minutes, just give a chance for a couple more people to get signed in. But hello, welcome to Cyberpunk 1988's channel, and this is Suffering Sundays, I'm calling it out because I'm about to suffer playing this game for the very, very first time. I've not played this before, so it's going to be interesting to say the least. All I've done is tweaked options, like audio and visual, so I've not actually played the game yet. Obviously I know of it, I've seen clips and everything, but I've not played it, so this is a chance to look like me. We're like a little sissy bitch. So do say hi in the chat. I know Tam and Helen were on there at some point. Do feel free to pop in again and say hello. I will be engaging with the audience. It's a long time since I played a video game on Twitch, so it's really fun. So do feel free to say hello. I will be interacting with you as best can when I'm not cowering for my life inside the locker. But we shall see. Yes, Tam, let's try again. I do apologise for that, mate. Say just the lag issue. I want to try and solve that because that was not wanting that to load, so it rains stuff like that. You can go in. So hopefully. Fingers crossed now it'll hold out, but I couldn't have that back, so good. Yeah, thank you for being here, Tam. I hope you enjoy this. I know I promised you ages ago that I'd be running around screen like a little bitch playing in isolation, so I am going to make a start in just one moment then. So anyone else in the chat, do feel free to say hello and have a chin wag with me as I go around. This should be fun times for all, he says. I need something. Something! Hold up my phone so I can see, because this is just such a ramshackle operation I've got going. There we go. So at least now I can see my phone and I can respond to messages. Right, how am I looking setting the camera? That's fine. Alright then, let's, without further ado, get started. It's a different place house. Alien Isolation Survivor. I'm just gonna play it simple, please. Survivor mode might be a bit too rich for my blood. Okay, viewers, here we go. Playing the game with head tracking enabled allows. I ain't got a Kinect sensor, so that's not happening. Noise detection. I ain't got a Kinect on, so not gonna work. Great if it just try and fuck me over. Oh, difficulty. Novice. No, easy. I'm going to go balls to the wall and go medium. Why not? Balls to the wall, medium. Right, there we go. Not everyone aboard the station is aggressive. Oh, I've been wondering.
And good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming along tonight for our intermission episode of our D&D stream. We're missing two of our party members today. They're off in Cyprus. Lex is actually in the chat at the moment. Thank you for that, Lex. So yeah, we're just going to play a little intermission where we're going to be playing the lizard men that we were attacking the cities that we fought back episode 2 or 3, was it? I can't remember now.
And most of the thing, to be fair.
Yeah, it has been the big thing. So yeah, we're going to be playing the bad guys.
Guys.
We'll get to the character introductions in a second. In the meantime, we're going to be doing this in a two-parter. So there'll be part 1 tonight, and then we're going to do part 2 tomorrow, just to finish it off before going back into our normal campaign as of Sunday. So yeah, I think might as well get the characters' introductions out of the way first, and then we can go into what we're planning on tonight's session.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so you're back in time a little bit, a few days in the past, and you're not a bunch of warm-blooded, bipedal, wonderful heroes traveling through a pirate city. You're not even on the mainland. You're actually looking around at the fog-clouded, stony, desolate beach just before sunrise on a small island. The 4 of you are gathered together, desperate for the sun to rise and begin heating your blood. But you've been summoned, and you never refuse the summons of your master. So, as you're standing on the beach, looking at each other, what do each of you see?
Let's start with B. Why don't you start us off with what your character looks like?
Okay, so my character is Liz, who is a wizard lizard, and she's standing.
Not even one sentence. We didn't get one sentence in before Liz the Wizard.
She is a necromancer. She's on the beach looking around. Did you say it was foggy?
Yeah, it's very thick fog, which is almost unnaturally so. It's very warm and clammy because it's a jungle island, but it's just before, it's in like the minutes before sunup, so the horizon is glowing orange, but it's still, it's still dawn here. It's still pre-dawn.
Waking up, she's hungry. Wants to know when she's going to get her next meal. Her favourite being a heart, so that's what she's waiting for.
Okay, what does she look like?
Average lizard height, sort of a dark foresty green kind of scale colour. She's got a little skull hat on, and then just standard wizard clothing.
Skull hat. I just imagine like a little top hat. It's like a mouse skull.
It does actually say in my inventory. For some reason, I've got a pet mouse. So.
Oh God, help us all.
I do have a little pet mouse.
Obviously a snack.
Obviously a what? No, it's not a snack. It's a pet mouse.
Okay, so next to the skull-wearing lizard wizard, who's next to Liz?
Let's go with Rachie. Why don't you introduce your character?
I'm Reva. I'm a fighter, lizard folk creature, and I'm with the Purple Dragon Brotherhood. And I've got blue skin and short red hair, and I do 2-weapon fighting.
Okay.
I can't remember which weapons I chose.
All the weapons.
All the weapons.
Next to Reva.
Andy, why don't you introduce your character?
So he is small, perhaps slightly smaller than the Reaver, and definitely smaller than the Hunter. Kind of slight looking. He's got a little skull hat on his head, and there's little feathers, like brightly covered with feathers sticking out. He's got a necklace around him that's got teeth and small animal skulls and bird skulls and stuff on it. And it's kind of got like a cloak of little feathers, and he's got a shield, or at least what looks like he's using it as a shield, but it's actually a crocodile head, like a giant crocodile head that he's using as a shield. And he's got a staff and a stone knife at his belt. He has no metal on him at all.
Excellent. And the last one of the quartet.
Is Grekel, a lizard folk ranger. Can't really tell what his skin color is, because whenever he sort of passes on the different sort of bit of terrain, it just kind of blends with the terrain a little bit. So it gives him makes him harder to see. He's about
Excellent.
he's about 5'7", has a bow strung across his back and two like bone-handled short swords at his waist, and eagerly awaiting to meet the master to get his next target.
Excellent. So the four of you are kind of milling about on the beach. It's not as, although it's warm by human standards, it's like tropical, but without the direct sunlight, you're finding it uncomfortable. You all feel quite sluggish and a little bit slow, and not in pain but uncomfortable. You wait for about an hour. The sun rises, and more of your kind start to appear. At first 2 or 3, then 10, then 20, then 50, and then over a further half an hour, 40 minutes, hundreds of lizard men have filtered out from the jungle trees and are assembling on the beach of this island. Sun rises, but the fog doesn't burn away. If anything, it feels like it's thickening, and it's swirling all around the massed lizard men that are gathering on the beach. But they're not coming near you. You four are off by yourself at one end of the beach. The massed tribesmen of the lizardmen are gathering further down. You watch as they all form up into unruly mobs, and in groups of 20 to 50, they jump into the water and speed off in a different direction. Towards your raiding grounds, towards the lands where the humans live. But yet they haven't taken them with you. And the four of you, you're fierce warriors. You're powerful shaman. You know that your worth in a raid is worth any 10 of them. Why aren't they taking you with them? You were told to be here. You've done what the master said. This is how it should be. And you start to feel maybe some trepidation. But before long, another figure appears out of the fog, looming from nowhere. A tall, yet hunched figure, leaning heavily on a staff that clanks with the rattling of bones and odd fetishes and trinkets that are bound to its width. You've never seen this figure before. It's blind. It's a lizard folk whose eyes are milky white. It has one arm. It limps heavily. Stops 5 yards away from the nearest of you. You have assembled. You have come, yes.
Yes.
Yes, we have come.
Why have we been left behind?
Hunt is not for you.
What do you mean?
The others. They fight for meat. They fight and die. There is work that is needed of you. Work for the master. Do this, and you will live lives of glory. You will live in his presence until the last days. If you are successful. And he kind of trails off. Looks like he's listening to something that you can't hear. Yes. Yes, I will tell them. I will tell them this. He raises his staff, thumps it into the ground, and the air shimmers like it's a heat wave. And the image of a tall stone tower shimmers into being like it's an illusion. It's an image that's just summoned in front of you. In this hut of stone is one of the warm one's shaman. He holds a treasure that is dear to the master. Find it. Return it. Do what you should. Bangs his staff again. The image shimmers, and it is replaced with a jagged purple gem that rotates from all different angles, smooth and cut on one side, jagged and shattered on the other. Bear this image in your mind. Shows each of you one at a time. Snaps his staff on the ground. Then it goes again. Others are seeking this treasure. Others hunt for this prize. It is dear to the master, and if you are fortunate, it will be in the hut of the warm one's shaman.
If the master desires it, he shall have it. Just tell us where and when to go.
It looks like he's listening to a third party while you answered. He kind of grunts, mutters a few words under his breath that you can't hear, holds his staff up, and there's like a tearing noise, like a sheet of paper being ripped down the middle. And where his staff slams into the ground, it leaves behind it like a trail of black light that literally tears open until it's the width of 2-3 people wide. Step forward, if you would to begin the hunt.
Yeah, Greco just immediately goes forward without a question.
Okay.
Quickly steps forward too. I'm ready.
I'm going to do like an noise, like a lizard noise. And then like just step in happily. Excited.
Okay.
I was going to look as concerned as a lizard face realistically can look about what just happened, and then walk through after the weird one that screams.
Okay, so Greco, Reaver, Liz, and Croc
Croczilla.
step straight forward. God damn it. Step straight forward into this rift. As you step forward, there's a moment where you can't feel ground under your feet, but you don't feel like you're falling. You can't feel heat on your face, but you don't feel cold. You feel motion, but you can't feel wind. It's bizarre, and none of you have ever felt anything like it before. But just as you're processing all of this, you're in the air. You're in the air. You're in the open. You're falling. You splash into the open water.
What kind of magic bullshit
Down
is
into the
this?
sea. You're in the water, some 100 yards from the shore, where waves crash against a rocky cliff that climbs a good 50 to 100 feet into the air. On top of the cliff, you can see the familiar sight of a city wall, and you hear a little whisper in the back of your mind. Behind the wall lies the stone hut of the shaman. Bring victory for the master, or do not return home at all. And with that, you feel rather than anything else, you feel a severance, and you're aware that the four of you are treading water, something that comes very naturally to all of you, but you're alone.
Can I do a scan on the cliff face to see if there's any sort of cave entrances or anything like that along it?
Yeah, definitely. Take a perception check.
First roll of the night.
First roll.
13.
13. Okay. Why is my battery not charging on the laptop?
All these batteries to speak of.
Ah, yes. There we go. That's better. I've managed to pull it out of its thing. 13. You're still quite a good way away from the shore, but you've got very good eyesight. You're a tracker extraordinaire. You can see it where the water hits the rock. Just above the water level, you can see that there are some, recesses, some openings in the cave that go back out of line of sight. The rock face itself is kind of, every now and then there are roots that kind of grow out from the front and dangle down like vines, like thick tropical roots. About 40 to 50 yards up the cliff face, there is a stone tube that looks about 5 to 6 feet wide, jutting from the rock face. It's a perfectly circular stone tube. And you see a few ledges further up as well, but you can't see much what's over the ledges because they jut from the rock face, and you can't really see on top of them.
And if we're looking at either side of the cliff, is it like does it like go down into flatter ground, or is it like we're going to have to climb up this thing at some point?
To your right, which is essentially to the south, the cliff just continues on. It goes for at least another couple of miles, and then it curves into a bay that you can't see inside, and the wall traces along the top of the cliff. To your left, which is to the north, it's almost straight for 2 to 5. No, yeah, probably more like 3 or 4 miles. And there you can actually see the strange contraptions that the warm bloods use to traverse the water. You see tons and tons of these floating tree vessels that they use to do what you do naturally, all bound to these wood outcroppings, and more of their huts, the strange stone huts that the warm bloods live in.
I just turn to my party members and just go, I see holes in cliff face. Perhaps we can use those to get up to the warm bloodlands. Find this cottage that he speaks of. Sorry about the voice, I'm really trying.
Croczilla is going to nod. Croczilla is going to just quietly nod, and then he's just going to point down under the water. Then he's going to dive and start swimming towards the cliff, hoping that the others have got his point.
He's obviously a lizard of few words.
He is, yes.
So yeah, I'll just dive down as well and start swimming towards those cave entrances I spotted.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll dive down as well. Let's go.
Dive,
I'm gonna make a little
dive.
lizard noise again, and then die.
Lizard dolphin.
I can't do a noise, okay? Something meant to do with the weird ones to come out.
Absolutely love it. So yeah, you swim forward. Are you under? You say you've ducked under the water?
Yeah, ducked under to sort of try and avoid line of sight.
Okay.
We can't breathe underwater, can
Can you? Yeah, you. I think you've got a little bit of. Let me just check. You've got some swimminess because you're lizards. Lizard folk. Everybody. Yeah, you can hold your breath for 15 minutes at a time. So.
Yeah, we'll do the whole thing. Like we swim for 15 minutes underwater, pop up for breath, go underwater again, then pop up for breath, go underwater again.
Well, let's have a group stealth check. So every one of you make a stealth check.
Okay.
It's not
See,
great.
Elizabeth scrooching. She's very good at stealth.
That wasn't
Got a
great.
4. Damn. Oh wait, no, I did the wrong thing. Whoops.
Hey,
Oh,
that's better.
boom.
Revan, Liz,
That's 6.
Rock is
no
nuts.
better.
I only got a
Luckily, although you got a critical fail, luckily Reaver got a critical success, so they balance each other out. So it's all on Greco
Yeah,
now.
they do.
I got an 11.
Oh, okay. So that is one pass, one fail, one critical pass, one critical fail.
Liz, what's going on?
The noise Scott made, it was quite humorous.
Ooh, Eugen, So,
Well, making that noise is not humorous. That's a bad noise.
okay, so
I found it funny.
you duck under the surface of the water, and you're using your powerful tails to propel you forward in a wiggly lizard swimming manner, shooting forwards. You don't seem to have drawn any attention from any of the warm bloods, but something's seen you. Overhead, you see like a shadow, a winged shape that starts to circle around you where you're swimming. You can't tell the size of it at this point because you're underwater and it's very, very high in the sky, but something is watching. 15 minutes into the swim, you pop up for breath. Let's have another group stealth check for you.
Come on. Oh, that's even worse.
Well, I keep my stealth at a level pace.
Tell you what, Liz and
Same score.
very, very consistent with their stealthiness. Croc's done better. What did you get, Greg?
Got an 8.
Okay. Luckily, the rest of the group manages to cover for you.
Just
As the
forcing my head back
dimensional
underwater
cover.
again, like, not yet.
Yeah, basically, you pop your head up,
Grapple.
and Liz and Reaver just both slap hands on each side of your massive skull and just push you back under. You kind of splutter a little bit, but force yourself to. And Croc kind of looks at them as if they've lost their mind. But he takes a gulp of breath and submerges himself again. And whatever the winged shape that was following you, it seems to have clocked that you're not fish, and immediately just leaves in search of easier prey. So just as you're running out of breath on your second dive, you make it to the foot of the cliffs, where the waves are breaking against the rock, and it's surprisingly loud. You wouldn't normally let yourself swim this close to the rock because you're aware of the damage it can do to a soft, scaly body against the rocks. So you stop about 20, 25 yards away from the rocks, and you've got the choice to see what you want to do from there.
Cool. I think that tube is one of our best options. Could get us to the sewers under the. Oh, actually, no. I probably wouldn't know about sewers and stuff, would I? Because we don't go to cities.
Take an intelligence check. Or a history check, whatever works best for you.
That is a. Ooh. What's my have I have a bonus for that? Is it just a straight intelligence?
Yeah.
So I don't get any bonuses, but I got a 17.
17. Yeah. Although you don't really understand the warm blood's addiction to piling rocks on top of each other, you remember that they use these odd tunnels underneath their dens, and they seem to use it to do all kinds of strange things. Like they use it to flush their waste away, instead of using it to pad the walls of their huts like any sensible creature would do. They flush it away. They just run it into the water, which is, I mean, any sensible creature knows that's a stupid thing to put in the water. Why would you want to put your own waste in the water? Idiot creatures. But you recognise that one of those kind of tunnels that they use.
Just like say that to the party. It's like
There's some good waste they're wasting.
warm blood.
Good building material that they're wasting. Yeah.
Bloody idiots.
Yeah, I would just like say that to the party. Just
Good waste.
humans use things like that for their own waste. Maybe we can use that to travel under the city and detect it till we find our prey.
Oh, yeah.
Better than climbing.
I mean, we do have to climb to it.
It's about, I was going to say, yeah, it's about 40, 50 meters in the air. It's high up the cliff.
I don't know how far that is.
It's tall. It's tall.
pretty
It's
far.
high. It's
Like,
high.
something I'm realizing with D&D is I have no awareness for how far things are, what distances are, or anything.
I have no
You say
spatial
distance,
awareness.
And I'm like, I have no idea what that is.
So you know where the really high cliff is when you can see all the trees down below you on the walk?
Yeah.
It's about
yeah.
halfway up that,
Okay.
so quite
cool.
high.
Could
About
be,
where the treetops are.
How is
In
everyone's-
ascending order up this cliff, you've got in the low part of the cliff, you've got some mysterious cave openings that seem to be there. About halfway up the cliff, you've got this stone tube sticking out. About 3/4 of the way up the cliff, you've got these strange ledges stick out that you can't see anything. And then at the top of the cliff, you've got a little bit of free space, and then a big wall.
I could,
One of us
I
tries
think
to.
the tunnels are better.
Yeah,
I could scout the caves, see what is in there. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll do that. I'll swim towards those little cave entries and see if there's a better way than having to climb up a 40-foot cliff face.
Okay? So Gretel swims forward, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Carefully, avoiding the being smashed against a rock.
That's it. As he gets in, the pull of the waves is. So let's have a strength check, Gretel.
Strength check. No bonuses. Excellent. Is that a save or just a straight strength check?
We could do athletics. I think if you've got any yeah, you got athletics. Take it as an athletics check.
Okay. 13.
13. Yeah, the tide is a strong pull this close to the cliffs, but you manage to just kind of pull yourself back just before you reach the stone, and you clamber up onto like a low flat rock. From there, it's an easy little hop up onto the mouth of the cave. Do lizard folk have dark vision?
Probably not.
No, they don't.
No, we
Thank
don't.
fuck.
No.
No.
That's the whole thing.
Thank-
isn't it?
Thank God for that. So, dark
Oh
vision.
no.
So you pull yourself up onto this rock, and again, for a warm blood, it would be very slippery and very slick. But you dig your claws into the stone; it holds you quite steady. You peer into the cave. It's not a very wide cave. It's about 10 foot wide, so about 2 people wide. And it very quickly descends into pure darkness. But you can hear the sound of waves hitting rock further inside.
Okay.
Actually, believe that it's still at least attached to the water, and then it goes further in.
Okay.
Could I swim up next to Grog? Grog is Gretel.
Gretel,
Swim up next to him.
you absolutely can. Swim.
Do an athletics check.
We need an athletics check from you. Absolutely.
A 7.
7. Liz gets a little bit carried away, and she's like, swims forward and tries to slow down as she approaches the rock face, but she finds herself actually caught in almost like a riptide. Starts frantically trying to backpedal, flailing her tail around, but she can't quite stop, and the force of a large wave kind of picks her up and dashes her against the stone. And she
Can I
knocked
go
her,
after her?
Oh, okay.
Well, I was about to say I was going to throw some rope out there to assist the rest of the party, but
Well, as you're getting your rope ready, you see that Liz, the enthusiastic lizard, has already started swimming forward. Really happy for the swim. River tries to grab her, swims forward, sees this like physically puny little wizard trying to swim forward, and she can see what's happening. But she swims forward herself to try and pull her back. Let's see. Can you take a strength check, Reva?
Yes.
Okay. So Liz is caught in the swell of the tide, and it's almost picked her up, and it looks like it's carrying her against the stone, like it's going to dash her against it. Reva swims forward, though, much more athletic than Liz, and just as she's about to go out of reach, wraps her talons around Reva's tail. Reva grabs her talons around Liz's tail and yanks her back, and with a yelp, Liz kind of falls back into the water, where Reva holds her steady.
It's all right, Liz. I got you.
Can Croczilla, sorry, have a little look and just see if you can see a little beachy area where it might be safer to try and get to land.
There is nothing immediately nearby. There is the area that Greco saw to the south, but that is a good. I think I said it was about a mile away. Did I say? I think that was about a mile.
It was a
3,
good couple of
4
miles,
miles.
3-4 miles. Or was
So
that
it was,
the?
was 3
3, 4
miles was to the ships, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, 3-4 miles to the
yeah,
ships,
yeah.
and then
Yeah. So there is a little bay area to the south, but it is a good mile away.
Yeah, and if there's no way of
A
walking,
mile is eminently swimmable for lizard men, for lizard folk, I should say.
it is, but then we have to walk all the way along the rocks back. So,
This is true.
Croczilla is going to swim forwards and attempt to get onto the rocks himself.
so I'm just gonna unwind some rope and sort of like fling it out to sort of like try to
I
assist everybody.
accidentally clicked mute then, so I'm sorry. I completely lost everyone for a second.
Yeah, I just said I was gonna like get my rope out and sort of like throw out to assist everybody in getting to the shore rather than having to. I don't know if that means they
Okay.
can do it with
There's
advantage.
not
Or...
anything you can tie that. There's not really anything you can tie that rope to, but you can hold it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm gonna hold it and throw it out to him.
Can I try
Okay.
to grab it?
Yeah, I'd say it's easy enough. You're both some of the more physical characters, so yeah, no problem.
Pull me in. And I'm just like there, like wee.
I just
Yeah, I'd
like
say
hold
we-
on to Reva's tail as she like swims in. I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah,
Hold on to her
we're
tail
just
as she swims
chilling.
in.
Well,
Just vibing.
with that, it's just like I'm at first. I'm like, yeah, fucking hell.
Yeah, it's with the rope being there, I'd say that anybody who wants to get up onto the rocks.
Croc, you joining us?
Yeah,
Get up on the rock.
yeah, I scrambled up
um,
onto the rock as well.
Croc just swims. He doesn't grab onto anyone. He just swims until they're up, and then he just grabs the rope and pulls himself up.
Okay, so have an athletics check from you then, you stubborn little you.
Oh, that would be a 9.
Yeah. You
That
grab hold of the rope, but you find the swell of the water is lifting you again, and all of a sudden you realise that you're out of. And just as you were going to start climbing this rope, the water itself just kind of swells and pushes you up. But because you are in touch with the primal forces of the world, it just sorry, it just deposits you up gently on top of the stone.
I sort of do like a little lizard-like smile at the others. Like,
Very impressive.
Lizard smile.
Oh.
lizard smile.
I'm a big fan of lizard smile.
Lizard
So,
smile.
do I have?
I would like to just pick up a rock that's on the floor, and I will cast my cantrip light so we can see into the dark tunnels.
Okay,
Ooh.
Very nice.
sounds reasonable.
Might. Yeah.
Yep. So have you thrown it in? Or are you holding it?
I was just gonna hold it rather than throw it in, but
Okay.
All right. I'll just say to them, it's like,
Yourself?
I'll just say to them, then everyone's like, stay close and let the light guide us. And I'll just take my 2 swords out and then advance into the cave with Liz.
And I'm gonna take out my warhammer and rapier and go in as well.
Now that's a hell of a mix. Smacky hammer. Rapier.
Yeah, I had to. It's too good.
Excellent. Okay.
Croc Rockzilla is just going to roll his eyes at the thought that there would be anyone stupid enough to run off into the dark where they can't see, where they think there might be enemies, and then just like follow on behind. What?
Excellent.
When it's your head.
Okay, so you start making your way into the cave. The light doesn't really show you as much as you might like. Very strange little environment. And it's not before the water is rising again, and you realise that although the cave is opening in there, it goes back underground and dips back low again. And the ceiling of these caves, once you get about in, the ceiling of the cave starts to slope downwards until it meets the surface of the water. Gretel, do you make a nature check for me?
Nature check, certainly.
While Dan is doing that, it says that my light can be any colour, so I'm going
Okay.
to choose it to be blue.
Blue light. Okay.
I like
Pretty.
Nature. Do I have anything
Ooh.
on that?
Liz, I
give
like
him-
your magic.
Can I help him? Can I help?
Yeah, absolutely.
Gretel with the nature check.
Go for it, yeah?
Yeah. So you roll with advantage, Dan.
Nat 20.
If you wanna do it. Okay, fine.
Nat
no problem.
20. Nat 20.
Yay!
Okay. You can. It doesn't take much reasoning for you to figure out, especially with Croc muttering in your ear, tell you what the deal is. That essentially the water will continue, but the water itself goes under the rock. This is a bit more dangerous than swimming in the open sea because you don't know if the water actually where else. All you know for sure is that it goes under the rock and continues.
It's to be a risk, but I think it's not. I think it's not worth taking. Maybe we should try the pipe above if people are happy with climb. If all of you folk are happy with the climb.
Could try
Rock's
to
gonna,
climb up and throw the rope
Rockzilla
down
is
for
gonna
you.
raise like a single finger, and then he's gonna seem to sort of almost shrink, and as he does, he turns into a giant toad, and then he's gonna dip underneath and he's gonna swim. He's gonna scout out the little cave thing because toads can breathe underwater, and they have dark vision because I just checked.
Odie
Look
back.
at the look at the.
Okay. So yeah,
Sorry, Scott.
you all stand for a moment and see the scrawnier one of the group. Kind of, he starts to swell and bulge. First, his neck gets really fat, and then his neck kind of wiggles backwards, and his body swells, and you hear the cracking of bone. And in a couple of seconds, the rather diminutive figure of Croc is replaced by a squat, warty, slimy toad creature that still has a little crest on his head, a little lizard crest. Just a big old just sat there, and it kind of goes rabbit, and then just hops into the water and vanishes.
I guess
Down
we wait.
you go.
I guess we wait
Bye
for him
then.
to come back.
Down goes Croc. Okay, let's have a perception check for Croc. Frog Croc, as he goes under the water.
I did not
It's
expect
using
turning
the-
into a toad was possible.
That wasn't something I was
Oh,
prepared
yeah.
for. To be
Oh
perfectly
yeah,
honest,
I
I was
I-
not
I-
prepared for that.
I get swimming. I get swimming speed at level 4, and you better believe I prepped a swimming speed because I knew we were going to end up in water. Right. I'm using the proficiency. No, not the proficiency. The perception of the toad.
That's it.
Where is its perception?
Toads.
I don't know actually.
No, not massively. I'm really not perceptive because I can't find it. Their passive perception is 10, but I can't find its perception.
It just means that you haven't got any particular perception in it. So it's just a straight roll. They haven't got a wisdom bonus. It's just
Cool. I'll just roll a d20 then.
yeah.
Ooh, that's an 18.
Wow. This is a
Perceptive little toad.
This is a perceptive little toad. He doesn't take. The thing is, he doesn't. It's not so much that he sees everything. It's more that he can just breathe this water, so he takes his time, has a little swim. Yeah, oh, yeah, that's not bad. Oh, look, walls. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Down, down, down. Takes a good 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And there's a part where it splits into three. There's the main kind of tunnel that you're swimming down, and there are two smaller junctions that branch off, one to the left, one to the right.
I want to continue down the main one for now.
Okay. You continue down the biggest passageway, thrusting your powerful toad legs, swimming your way down. I'm going to sneeze. Sorry, I'm really.
Ah, my ears!
I was laughing at the tongue getting involved, just going.
Yeah, every now and then.
Important part of the toad swimming process. I've got to taste the
Yeah.
water.
Every now and then
Yeah.
there's a little like fish swims past. No, just grabs it. Keep swimming.
Proxilla needs to snack. He needs to keep his strength up.
he's a growing boy.
Snacky boy.
He's a snacky boy. Eventually, you come to the point where the stone walls just sort of end, because it isn't a place that's been dug out. It's just where the stone's been worn away from the motions of the water for years and years. There is, however, a little glimmer of something that seems to be moving in the water below you. Only something very small, and it just seems to be waving in the motion of the water.
I want to swim down and have a little look at that.
Okay, take an investigation check for me.
Oh, I'm not. Actually, yeah, I'm not too bad. Oh, that's just a straight roll. That's an 11.
Okay. A giant
I'm
toad.
a toad. I'm a giant toad. I'm not good at investigating shit.
There's a -4, so that's a 6. Okay.
Fair
As you swim close, you see it's actually a little bit of cloth that's sticking out from like a crevice. And as you swim closer, you get your big froggy eyes next to it, and you see that there's like some bones and the cloth, and they're just wedged into the crevice, but you can't make out what they are. There's just some bones.
Cool. I'm gonna swim away then, because I haven't found what I'm looking for.
Swim, 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 swimmy, swim, swim.
And I guess I'll go down. Let's take the right one first. Let's go
Hand
right.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Why not? Go down the
Why
right.
not?
1 second. Just search for something.
That sounds ominous.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps.
That's not helping me feel better.
That one. Right, roll a D100 for me.
Oh, sorry.
Good.
I like to imagine that's the noise that your character makes all the time whenever they're about to do anything.
63.
63.
63.
Okay. You swim down this one. This one seems to be getting narrower, narrower and narrower and narrower. Until eventually your chunky giant toad bulk is almost being touched by both sides of the passageway. But it is sloping upwards slightly, so you're feeling a bit hopeful. Before you see another dead end. But there's something glittering in the water on the base of this little spur in the tunnel. Make a perception check. That's just a straight roll for gigantic toad.
$13.
13. Here closer, and there's several. Well, to be specific, there are 13 individual pieces of brass dinnerware. There's a plate, a bowl, 2 or 3 small brass cups, and the rest is various small pieces of cutlery. It's corroded brass dinnerware just lying on the base of this little spur, just literally lying on the rock. It's an odd thing to just find scattered along the bottom of this underwater cave.
Yeah,
Actually,
it's weird.
you roll pretty good perception. You look up, which isn't very far up because you're nearly touching the ceiling, but there is a small crack in the roof of the cave. And as you get nearer and nearer, you realise actually there are a couple of centimetres where the water doesn't quite reach the top. There's just a couple of centimetres of air. You haven't left out of the water yet. You're still under the water. You can just see the rippling effect of water where there is just a tiny, tiny little gap where the water of this little spur doesn't quite meet the ceiling.
Swim a little closer and just see if I can see anything interesting through the crack.
Yeah, you pop your eyes out of the water, plop, and you can feel air. You can feel that there's air. The crack is probably about a foot wide. Do you have dark vision as a toad? Yes,
I do, yes.
you have a little bit of dark vision. And you see that it's just literally an empty rock, but if you peer, after a little while it goes pitch black, but you still see faintly, a little glimmer of light.
Okay. Still not what I found, unless a lizard person could fit through the gap. So
Absolutely
I'm
not.
I'm gonna swim back, and I'm gonna go left.
You're going to go left?
Yeah, I'm
Roll
gonna
it.
go down the other fork I haven't explored yet.
Roll another D100 for me.
Perception. Okay. Concern. It's a 74.
74.
74.
Okay, that's a thing. For the 3 of you that are waiting outside the cave, I want one of you to roll a perception check,
I can do that.
and the other 2 to roll stealth checks for me.
I'll do the perception because my perception's pretty.
I'll do
I'll do stealth.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll do
Sorry,
that.
guys.
That's another nat 20.
Wow.
Not even joking. Hang on.
Oh, that's bad.
14.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. Good.
What
Good to
happened
know.
to Reva?
I don't know. She lets out a loud lizardy fart. I don't know what.
Getting written down.
She's
She's
getting it
tired
down.
from. She's tired from saving Liz.
Going in the official notes now.
It's canon. It's canon. Reva farted. Okay.
It's natural. Don't judge me.
Don't fart shame her.
Yeah.
So, Gretel, you're keeping an eye out. You can't see much, but your sharp hunter senses do detect in the distance the faint sounds of screams and shouting and panic on the wind. It's not close to where you are, but you can gather that the rest of Gailey brothers and sisters are making their presence known along the rest of this coastline as you hear the sound of just havoc breaking out in the city.
I'm just gonna give myself a grim little chuckle at that. The warm bloods will taste. Finally, no fear. I don't actually do that. I don't actually do
A
that
little
in
chunk of
character.
full-blown evil.
Love it.
Let me just shoot back across to. I haven't. Right. As
Trying to point.
as Toady Boy is wiggling his way down this extra, you notice that the water starts to feel a little bit warmer. Excellent. This is good. Swim, swim, swim.
I was about to say something you did in there.
Yeah. Oh, who knows?
Filth.
With your passive perception, you notice the water is getting a little bit, and you stop. You can feel rather than hear anything because you're underwater. You can feel vibrations in the water ahead of you. Lots of little things are moving.
Okay. I'm going to try and swim as stealthily as a majestic giant toad can towards
Right, roll a stealth check in your giant toad form.
giant toad.
+1 to that. That's pretty good.
Stealth. Yeah, I get a +1. Boop, boop, boop.
If now I can be stealthy, then so can this toad.
Nah, this
Yes, it
toad's
is.
got a 10,
No, he
so
cannot.
it can't.
Toad's got a 10. Okay, let's see what they got. Oh, you might be stealthier than these things.
Fuck yeah.
Yep, you are stealthier than the things. As you kind of flatten your bulk to the bottom of the channel and squeeze your way forwards, trying to keep yourself as pressed close to the rock as you can. And ahead of you see a swarm of small fish, but as they kind of flip backwards and forwards through and around it in constant movement, you notice they've got very, very tiny but very sharp teeth. I'm not going to make you take a nature check because you're a natural boy. You notice that these are the carnivorous fish known as quippers.
That's so cute.
No, they're not.
No, darting around inside the tunnel.
Right. Well, I'm gonna make a note of what they look like because this could be
Shit,
a
you can
fun
turn
new
into
form.
You turn into a
A fun
fucking
new
quipper now.
form with which to
John-
I
annoy.
want you to do that on land.
Yeah,
Yeah.
turn into a quipper. They're basically like old water piranhas. They're like red coloration on the bottom, blue coloration on top, little orange eyes and jaw that's kind of pushed forward. So they look like they really look pugnacious. They look like they always look like they're ready for a fight. They're like that big, tiny little fish.
Right. Do I get the sense that this tunnel is leading to where I want it to lead? Also, how long have I been swimming, including the time that I swam to the junction? How long is it I've been swimming? Is it more than 5 minutes?
Probably more than 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, realizing that while it's all very well for me to be swimming around for like multiple, like 15 minutes, it's not very well for my companions, which means this isn't what I'm looking for, which means apart from admiring the scales on some of the particularly handsome quippers and thinking about how hilarious it would be to turn into one of those things and sliver down a warm bellard's trousers and get munching, I'm going to turn around and swim home.
Okay.
Oh, one sadistic bastard.
Turn around. Pull your
It's
bulk
character,
backwards.
So much thought went into that.
Yeah, it did.
I love it.
Yeah, it doesn't take very long at all before you retrace your steps and you pop back up onto your little toad head just pops out of the water in front of your colleagues. Whoop, blub, blub.
Hello.
I'm going to just shake my little toad head.
I think that means no.
Guess no.
And then I'm going to start swimming back out again. Right,
Okay.
back out the tunnels.
I'm gonna go
Okay.
outside the cave and try to start climbing up to the tunnel with a rope so I can throw it down
Why?
to them.
See you
Huh?
later then. See you
I'm trying to-
later.
It's
I'm trying
not
to
even
get a rope ready so you can climb up it. How ungrateful.
no planning, no conversation. Just give me that rope.
No, just
Reaver just grabs the rope.
Croc
just
just
starts-
jumped
there's a-
in the water.
Yeah, this is
Rock isn't very talkative.
I'm noticing this.
very lizardy. To be fair, you're not big
Yeah.
on. Reaver grabs the rope, sticks it in her jaws, and starts climbing up the rock. Okay, we're going to need several tests for you because it is quite.
Oh.
So, first one, let's have an athletics check for you.
Okay. Come on, Reaver.
Are you still a Are you still a toad?
Well, yeah. At the minute, he's still a toad.
Ooh.
I ain't changing him back till I have to. These
23. First leg of the climb isn't a problem. You manage to sink your claws into face, pull your bulk up. Reaver is, one of the most athletic of the lot of you. She's a fighter by trade, a warrior, and she's in very good physical shape. So she makes the first, 20 meters worth of climb without really slowing down, just trailing this rope behind her. No problem. Let's have a second athletics check for.
Do it.
Ooh.
Yeah, not a problem. Breezes onwards. At one point, you
Grooving.
hold one of the dangling roots to pull yourself up, and it pulls free of the rock face. But your remaining hand is so strongly gripping on that you don't even slow down. You let go of it.
I just laugh. Nah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Just look, whatever. Keep climbing. And it's only a matter of a minute's worth of work before you make the entire climb up this rock face to the stone tube that's protruding out from the cliff.
And can I just throw the rope down to them now?
Are you tying it to anything else? There's nothing to tie it onto. So
Well, I'll just hold it.
You're going to hold it. Okay.
Yeah.
You throw it down. Whose rope is this? Is this Greckel's rope?
I've got a rope, I think. So.
You've got a rope and Greckel's got a rope.
Yeah.
So is this your own rope?
Yeah.
You throw the rope down, and it unfurls to its full length. How long's your rope?
Oh, damn. Have a look.
I don't know if that's right, but it's just.
Oh, 50 feet.
So it unfurls about a third of the way that you've climbed.
Right.
And you look down, and the rope is kind of flapping against the cliff face. And there's the upturned faces of your two lizard folk friends and the one frog in the water. They're both just looking up at you. And you don't know what a disappointed toad looks like.
How high is the rope above their heads?
The rope, well, it's 50 feet, and she's climbed 40 meters, so it's about rough, I don't know, a third of the way. Probably another 100 feet, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
My measurements are a bit airy-fairy because I too have. Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea. My bad.
It's fine. I'll climb up to it and attach my rope and throw my remainder down. So I'll climb up to it and try and gingerly do
Gretel
that.
takes his rope in his fangs, and off he goes. Let's have an athletics check off you.
Right.
First 20.
Athletics is... Oh, it's not too bad, actually. Cool.
Natural one.
16.
Okay.
Not today, DM, not today.
Slightly slower progress than Reaver, but you do follow the route that she took, and you manage to get to the trailing end of. Now this is going to be a bit of a challenge because you've got to hold on to the face with one limb and tie the ropes together with the other. So let's have a dexterity.
Wrap my tail around one of the ropes.
You cannot because you do not have a prehensile tail. Your tails are vestigial.
All right, what do I need to roll?
Dexterity check.
Dexterity check. Okay, so got a lot of +3s, but not much else. 14.
14? I'll say that does it. It's very awkward, and you take a bit of time to do it. Yeah, you manage to knock the rope together, and you let it down. For the sake of argument, yeah, 2 ropes together, they dangle that it's near enough that it can be used by your comrades to climb.
Cool.
But Gretel, you're way up at this point.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give 2 tugs of the rope to show that I'm ready to climb, and then start. Like feet on the rocks on the cliff face while I pull up with my arms.
Okay, Reaver, let's have a strength check from you to see if you can take the load. Actually, no. You'll take the load. Let's just say it gives Gretel a. Let's have an athletics check with advantage from you, Gretel.
Cool. So nat 20.
That's 20. Yeah, now that the rope's in place, you bound up the cliff face. And you join Reaver at the top.
I'm using this dice more often.
Which dice
fix.
does that show us?
It's a fix.
It won't
Good
show
boy,
us the
dice.
dice.
I will
I'm
show
just
the
gonna
rolls in
offer up a
future if you
fist.
want.
It's
Yeah,
just
Gretel if
20
it
on
comes
every
up.
side.
Gretel. Boom. Yeah.
And then I'll,
Lizard
and
fist bump.
I'll
Yeah.
help with the whole holding of the. Actually, no, because like, you got this. So I'm going to sort of check the tunnel and see if we can actually fit inside of it.
Okay.
At least you got faith in me.
So Gretel, let's have a perception check from you. Then is the next person going to try and make the climb?
Oh god, no.
Right, Liz. It's
Yeah.
time
Come
that
on,
you're going to be
Liz.
best at.
You're
need
gonna
a
make noises.
check.
Come up.
You need an
Yeah,
athletics
yeah,
check,
yeah.
but you're going to have
Dolphin lizard.
the dolphin lizard.
Advantage.
Yeah.
But you sound like
Is
you
it-
go,
So we've got 11 and 12. It takes you a while, and there's a few
Oh.
times where your little lizardy foot claws kick loose, a cloud of rocks, little pebbles that scatter down the rock face, and every now and then you grip the rope and you just like close your eyes. Really happy that you've got your skull mask on because no one can really see how terrified you are. You grip in the rope, and it takes you a while, but you do eventually, with Reaver's encouragement, manage to make it up to the top. Okay, which leaves a giant
Can I?
Swing
Just all
around
like peer over the edge of the stone tube and it's just a toad looking up at us.
essentially at this point.
I take the rope in my mouth,
Right.
and then I would like to
Yep.
jump straight up, which I can jump
Right.
10 feet
Okay.
onto like a little, and I basically want to just hop my way up the cliff using the rope.
How the
Rope
fuck am I?
toad mouth.
How the fuck am I supposed to get you to roll for hopping up the? You absolute nightmare of a player.
Do toads even have sticky hands?
Doesn't have any sticky hands at all. Oh god. Okay.
How the fuck are you hopping up this thing?
It's your choice of what you want to do at this point. You can take a strength check to try to grip the rope with your teeth, and have Reaver take a strength check to pull you up. Or you can take a dex check to try and bounce up the cliff face with disadvantage, but Reaver might be able to catch the ball.
Okay, I guess I'll do the strength check because the toad's best at that.
Okay,
I don't
so
want to turn back into.
So we got Croc taking a strength check to see if he can hold on to the rope while he's around the place, trying to catch his toad bulk as he's jumping. Because he's not just a normal toad; he's a giant toad. He's a 10-foot wide toad at this point.
Yeah, I was about to ask how big it is.
Boy.
I like pushing
So-
with my big leg.
So, although the pushing off is fine, but it's the when you kind of start falling and you have to try and hold on with your toad mouth onto the. And then Reaver, you need to take a strength check too to make sure you can hold this bastard rope with the gigantic weight of a toad swinging around the end on it.
Well, I'm just kind of laughing, looking at him
Okay.
swinging around. So kind
It's a hell of a
enjoying
sight.
myself.
I hold the rope with
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, so that would give Reaver advantage if you want to help her.
Yes, please, yeah.
Oh my god.
Do this.
Oh, yeah, I needed you there.
Okay,
I got a 13.
Toad's got a 13. Reaver, you get to roll again because you got advantage from the help action that Liz is.
Thank you.
Liz is over your shoulder going, no, don't grab it there. Hold it there. don't hold it there.
Oh, that's better. Yeah, go.
Okay,
Thank
so-
you.
Yeah.
18 and 13. It's a hell of a sight. It's very odd as the toad is scrabbling every foothold it can try and get before hopping and flailing again with his big powerful hind legs. tiny stubby forelegs. As he's trying to hop up any rocky outcrop you can find on the. What I will say is that Reaver, you take 1 point of fire damage, as every now and then the bulk of this toad is pulling the rope through your hand so badly that it's burning the skin. So it's actually.
Whoa! Sorry, sir, but you can't fat tame shows in 2021. That's
I
not
am
acceptable.
I am fat shaming the giant toad. It is
unacceptable.
unacceptable.
Oh my
Unacceptable.
As much as I'm glad that no one is watching us, imagine just looking out at the cliff face one day and you see this toad leaping.
Gigantic toad hanging out of the toilet pipe by a rope.
There probably is someone watching us, but they're just like smoking this pipe at me. It's like,
What did I do?
Staring at their drink like.
it's like I'm afraid to report
Nora
this.
smoking that pipe.
Nora. Fucking Nora.
Ignore it.
Giant toad is a proud and majestic creature, and I will not have you shame it in such a way. So,
I will say, I have never had to had somebody try to tell me that they're climbing a cliff as a giant toad before. That was an experience.
I'm proud to be your first giant toad climbing a cliff.
Giant toad mountaineer. So yeah, in the mouth of this tube that's sticking out of the cliff, there is now a small group of 3 lizard folk, and 1 giant toad that almost completely fills the tube. At this point, it looks like somebody's jammed a pea into a straw. So all the natural stuff outside is blocked off by the bulk of the giant toad that is Croc.
Can I make a small request that you get out of that form?
Gonna turn back into a lizard. As
Yeah?
toad, does he ribbit and does the whole throat thing?
Yep.
So does that mean if we all stand in front of him and he ribbits, he will like push us?
Yep. 100%. Yep.
I immediately do
I
it.
want to do that, but it's not a good idea.
Liz immediately feels push and on her back. She's pushed forward by Croc's bulging throat sack as he ribbits in the area.
I'm proud of what I have done here.
There's a sentence. There is a sentence. Liz the wizard lizard is pushed forward by Croc's bulging throat sack.
That's got to be a meme. If we ever get a meme out of this group, that's got to be one of them.
Is that a throat sack in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Did anyone ever see the movie 43 with Hugh Jackman?
No.
You'll be so
Not
glad.
so sure I want to now, but. By the way,
So bad.
He's just loving ribbiting. He's loving it so much.
my perception of Rolf Merlier was a 17.
Was it a 17? Okay.
Yeah.
So there is still some light being cast by the glowing magic pebble in Liz's hand, which you see that it's a stone tube that's been chiseled and crafted. It's not a naturally occurring. So I'm covered in black paint. I haven't got leprosy. And there's a trickle of kind of slimy sludge underfoot. About 50 feet in down the tunnel, you can see that there's a barred grate just blocking it off.
Okay. I'll walk up to the grate.
It does continue. You can see that it continues past the grate.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm going to try and just walk up the grate and just see if there's any sort of give in it at all, or if it's just particularly solid and unmoving.
Okay. You wrap your talons around the metal and give it a shake, and it does rattle in place. And it's not pristine, it's been in this essentially toilet tube since it was built. It's still metal, it's still intact, but it's definitely worse for wear.
Can I ask Liz if there's any magic that she can use?
And that's me.
Liz? You got any magic? Make Bargo? No. No kaboom.
How's your how are you feeling for
No.
for strength, River? I want to see if you
I
can.
could run at it if you like.
Don't.
You've got a massive freaking hammer.
Have you ever met a Narevek?
Hang on. Can we get Croczilla to ribbit us as hard as he can?
No, that is a terrible idea. Why would you suggest this?
Because it's funny.
We will take.
The giant toad's head kind of
No.
like twists to the side as he tries to figure out
No.
what you're going to do about this thing. And he's also wondering, why have you not just asked the massive toad to like jump at it or something? But
Because the massive toad is behind us and can't get past us.
Ribbit at it.
It can't get past us. We are in the tunnel in front of it. He can't see past us. He's
Oh.
literally blocking the tunnel.
Can I go?
Yeah,
at
you
it
are
with my
between
hammer?
a toad and a hard place at the moment.
Croczilla wonders
Hey.
what your survival has to do with the mission.
Rude.
If you're,
You just move the toad forward until he squeezes all three of you into the grate like Play-Doh.
No.
So, Eva, why don't you try giving a few whacks with your hammer, see if you can get this through.
Okay.
Okay. So Reva shoulders her way forward, hefts her hammer in one hand, and takes a little. You hear the sound of her feet kind of slapping against the sludge on the base of the tunnel as she runs forward and swings at the grate. Can you roll an attack roll? That's all for damage, I think.
Oh, okay. Attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to hit it first. Hit the grate. Roll a 1.
Wait.
Roll a 1.
Wait.
Roll a 20.
Did I do it? Did I do it wrong? I don't know what I'm doing.
17. Okay, so you run forward, and you slam your hammer into the grate, and it rings like a bell. You make a solid contact. Roll your damage. Okay, so the metal buckles, tongue, and you see it. It's dented in, like almost at a 45-degree angle. Broken yet, but it's done some real big damage to it.
Yeah.
I guess let's do that again.
Yeah, hit it again.
Okay.
The humans are distracted, they won't know. Our brothers and sisters are already causing chaos on there.
Ribbit.
Stop your echoing. They'll notice. Imagine someone on the toilet and they just hear an echoing ribbit.
As well as a clanging metal.
You're sat in the privy, and you can just hear like a washing machine down a hill, and then a gigantic echoing ribbit. Okay,
I
you
smack it again.
just rolled damage again there. Roll the attack first. You got to hit.
Oh, I thought I did do that first. Hold on.
Oh, she did. She got another 17.
Oh, you just got the
Yeah.
same again. Sorry, that's my fault. I didn't even
It's
see that.
alright.
So yeah, another solid blow, smack, and yeah, this time, bang! The whole thing just kind of snaps and hangs loose on its axle. The echo of that shattering metal just kind of rings down the tunnel, but the grate is hanging loose and completely dented and twisted out of shape with two massive blows from Reva.
Good work. And we'll just continue to then go forwards into it with... I would like to have... I was just like, keep Liz behind me so that I can have the light still to see, and then just keep moving forwards.
Okay. So a perception check from you.
$12.
Oh, and are you just walking down the tunnel
Stealthing down the tunnel.
with the glowing light?
Yeah.
Yeah. The blue light.
Glowing. Sorry, yeah, that's much less.
Being as careful as they can be whilst
Nice.
illuminated.
Blue lights are so inconspicuous. I mean, it's not like they stick them on top of cars. Its whole purpose is to be seen so people get out of the way or anything.
I mean, if you were walking down the
That's
street
blue
and
and
there was
red.
if you were walking down the street and there was a blue glow coming out of the drain, you wouldn't think twice. It's so normal.
No, blue
No, I
is
just-
a calming colour.
No, I
It's
just,
blue
I,
is a calming
And it's-
colour.
Is it meant to hypnotise people?
I just meant like
Right.
I'm trying not to make noise because then if people aren't attracted to noise, then they are by a little bit of a light coming out of the ground. And by the sounds of it, they've got other things to worry
That
about at the moment.
makes perfect sense to me. Perfect sense. Let's have a stealth check from all of you.
I fail where it counts.
Oh. Yeah.
Reva's killing it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love
all of you.
Reva.
Reva's killing it.
Am I stealthing?
Yep, all
Yes.
of you. You can try and stealth as you're dragging your toady bulk through the tunnel.
Oh, no, that's still not the right button.
Oh, Liz.
Like,
Yeah, I
Lizzie,
don't know how. If I do worse than the giant frickin' toad, fuck.
I got an 8, so you only did one better than me. So don't get
Yeah.
too
So
excited.
it was still better.
And
I love it, seven.
I got a 6.
Wow.
A trained stealth person is a giant toad. Fuck.
So yeah,
They're ambush predators, you know. Uber stealth.
ambush predators. So this is a hard thing to describe, really, but you proceed along this like stone tube, lit by the vibrant blue light of Liz's magic rock. Every now and then, because Liz is glowing in the dark, that's why her role. Grekel every now and then is banging his head off the ceiling of the tube, and then like hissing angrily, like maybe every 20 paces he's banging his head. And Croc is a gigantic toad filling the whole tube, so raping his bulk along, and every third pace he kind of stops because ribbit. Ribbit.
We are the worst ever stealth group.
You are
We are the elite lizards.
Yes.
Squeal Team 6. You're terrible. Reva's really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Reva's ahead of you all, just cringing at every thump, every groan, every ribbit. She's just wincing at every single sound that you're making. But you're making good. I really need to go to the bathroom. So can we maybe pause for like a?
Yep. I need to get some more water anyway, so that's cool. But cool for me.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Get more drink prior to
I'm
the
gonna go
blizzard
to the
boys.
loo.
All right, chat. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. Good evening again, everybody. Thank you for bearing with us. But we are actually going to call it quits tonight because time's getting on a bit, and we have got a lot more that we want to cram into this. So we're going to start it at 6 o'clock tomorrow instead, and finish off the rest of the session, and see what happens. See if this giant toad is going to get into a lot of trouble.
The giant toad is amazing.
But no, thanks everyone for coming along tonight. Thanks Scott again for being an incredible DM as always. And yeah, we'll see you all tomorrow at 6 p.m. for more D&D shenanigans.
Thank you for letting me essentially reverse abseil up a cliff as a giant toad. It is an experience that I and no one else will ever forget. It's beautiful.
But yeah, good night, viewers, and see you tomorrow.
Toad noises.
For fuck's sake. Bye.
Okay.